Legendary.
Welcome to another video, guys. Today we will be looking at 10 of the most impactful and meta-defining cards from Descent of Dragons. The new expansion is just around the corner, so this video should get you up to speed on what you can expect from it. A like and a subscribe is always appreciated. Now let's get into it. We can all agree that Descent of Dragons is packed with great and powerful cards. In this video, I will try to pinpoint which are the neutral cards that will have the most impact on the meta. Yes, the Galakrond cards and the side quests, and a lot of the other class cards are pretty powerful, but I will stick to the neutral cards, since if we start talking about class cards, this is gonna be more like a top 30 instead of a top 10. With that out of the way, let's start with the common neutral cards in mana order. First up, we have the 1 mana 2/2 Blazing Battle Mage, which is basically our neutral Raven, without the beast tag. This is quite the power creep card, which can be said about a lot of the cards from this set. It's a well-rounded minion you can fit into almost any deck for some solid early game, so we will probably see a lot of this guy in the upcoming months. Next up is the neutral SI Agent, Scale Rider. This is basically another strong class card that went neutral. It looks like a must include in almost any aggro and tempo deck with some dragon synergies, since it has such strong early game tempo. Sticking a free on the board while removing an opponent's minion, basically for free, is the early game dream for those decks, so prepare to see a lot of this guy when the dragons finally descend. Moving down to Platebreaker. The community has wanted a card like this for so long, and it's finally here. It being a 5 mana and fairly statted would make it a weird inclusion for most aggro and tempo decks, but Highlander decks should definitely find room for it in their lineup, especially if we see control decks rising again. The effect is really strong, but it would be way too situational. Overall, it's not an amazing card, and I'm not sure if we're gonna see too much of it, but it's nice knowing you have a tool to keep those control decks at bay, if the meta swings that way again. It's not as meta-defining as the rest of the cards on this list, but it's still nice that this card exists, and I think it's healthy for the game. And the last neutral common on this list is Big Ol' Whelp, which pretty much reminds us of Azure Drake, which got Hall of Famed. Sure, nowadays we have a lot of cycle cards, but I still think that this whelp is gonna have a big role in the new meta. Having a well-statted 5-drop that also draws you a card is great, but the fact that it's also a dragon is even better. It's a common too, so budget players will definitely include it in most of their decks, and they will have decent results with it. Now, let's see the rare cards. The first one is Bad Luck Albatross, a 3 mana 4/3 beast. If we stop there, this would still have been an LK card to put in a beast-oriented deck, but the death rattle it has makes it so much better. This not only denies Highlander decks, but in any other scenario, it gives your opponent 2 dead draws. Highlander decks will still have a huge share of the decks played in the new meta, so we should be seeing a lot of this guy, and Midrange Hunter might actually make a big comeback as well. Okay, so I think we can agree that a 4 mana 7/7 is busted. Well, I guess Blizzard doesn't, cause here is a 4 mana 8/8 with Rush. This one is downright busted, and it's gonna be one of the most used cards in the new expansion, as long as dragon decks exist, and we all know they will. This card would have seen play even if it was at 6 mana, so I would definitely not disenchant any copies of it. I think it's gonna be one of the cards that are gonna get nerfed in the first wave of nerfs that we see after 4 or 5 weeks after a new expansion drops. So make sure to keep all copies of it, and you might make some dust profit soon. And the last neutral rare here is Faceless Corruptor. This is yet another fair rush card that will give any deck an insane turn 5 stabilization tool. Being able to transform any 1/1 into a strong 5/4 rush dude is gonna be pretty good, and I do believe a lot of decks will find room for 1 or 2 of these dudes. No matter the deck, as long as you have some lackey generators, or if you're a paladin or shaman, this would be pretty worth for you. Time for the strong epic neutral cards. Yeah, none of those. So that leaves us with 3 strong neutral legendaries. Frizz Kindle's Root is the cheapest one, so we're starting from there. A 4 mana 5/4 with an absolutely busted effect. No handicap whatsoever, and a mana cost reduction of not 1 but 2. This is quite the broken card, and again, this looks like something that could get nerfed in the future. We saw a lot of strong, impactful dragons being released, and being able to drop them 2 turns earlier would definitely feel OP. After the broken dragon card, let's see the broken Galakrond card, Krunk's Dragonhoof. A 6 mana 6/6 that draws your Galakrond from your deck. This will be a must include in any Galakrond deck, and even if you already drew yours and played it, it still has an awesome bonus for you in the form of 4 devastations, from which you get to choose from. Galakrond rogues might even abuse it and shuffle a ton of those back into their deck, and that sounds like a pretty scary reality to me. And the final neutral legendary I have to talk about in this list is Dragon Queen Alex Strauza. Yep, broken as hell. If Zephyrus and the other Highlander cards weren't busted enough, here, have some more support for it. Playing this on curve and dropping whatever you got from it for free will almost always require a hard removal from your opponent, or it will be pretty much GG, not to mention if you have it discounted by Frizz. If the battle cry was Death Rattle instead, I think this would have been a fair card, but this? I guess the 4 mana 8/8 rush doesn't sound so wrong now, does it? Anyway, that's it for this video, guys. Don't forget to clear your quests so you have room for the quest chain we will receive on December the 10th, and make sure to have an unfinished arena too. Good luck with your pack openings, and thanks for watching. I'm Kris05, and I'll see you in my next video.